if this works this time. So for my project, I did it based on this show called Legion. It's about a man named David Haller, who is Charles Xavier's son from the X-Men universe and is canonically the most powerful mutant in the world. It goes through him being diagnosed with schizophrenia and trying to figure out how much of it is mental illness versus superpowers, and then if I say any more, it'll go into spoiler land, so I'm not going to. Let's see. Here's my mind map. I did this based on watching a couple episodes and then things that I thought of. I asked my sister and other people who had seen the show as well as other people who had not seen the show. Here's my mood board, which I created from different ads and fan art that I found, and I kind of wanted my own billboards and banner to fit in with these, so this is what I based them off of. There were a lot more images, but I couldn't fit them all onto one page. I did maybe in total, maybe about 30 thumbnails. I narrowed them down into this one page so that I could get a better idea of what I wanted to do compositionally, and then I kind of went from there with the ideas. And eventually I settled on these three and these three. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but I just pointed to the ones with the stars on them. Here are my roughs that I chose based off of my thumbnails. They changed quite a little bit, but I'd added more detail and colors. And I decided to do them by hand using paint, gouache mostly, and various inks on 8 by 11 pages to match up with the frame size for a standard digital web page. Here are my research demographics. Most viewers, based on IMDb and different sources that I found, showed that 16 to 35-year-old males watched this show. I also based this on Facebook fan groups that I found. Other shows that were recommended through IMDb were Gotham, American Gods, and Daredevil, and all of those kind of surrounded visual components, soundtracks, and a superhero, non-traditional superhero arc. My competitive analysis, I chose to do The Umbrella Academy, Daredevil, and Hotline Miami, comparing to Legion because all of them have different components that Legion does, like the visually compelling thing, the non-traditional superhero arc, and Hotline Miami is known for its soundtrack. It's a video game, an RPG two-dimensional video game, and The Umbrella Academy and Daredevil are Netflix shows that are very highly rated. My research persona is based on people that I found in Facebook fan groups, mostly like a younger man. I don't want to really say he's a hipster, but he kind of is. Enjoys things that are kind of scary and a little bit trippy, which is kind of Legion to a T in my personal opinion. Here's my solution for a banner. This is made with gouache and ink. I did framing with cropping the text through the 3, transparency with the grid that I did, and having each object itself be only lines so you can see the background well. And then I did layering through objects and layers of paint. Here's billboard number 1, billboard number 2, and billboard number 3. This is all of them together. This was very color oriented for me. I did the portraits themselves with gouache, and then I took a photo, used masking layers, and used semi-transparent rectangles to make the backgrounds have color. These 2 are originally black and white optical illusions, and then this third one is one image of a videotape cropped and resized and layered on top of each other, because in this third image he's eating videotapes, which is hard to describe if you haven't really seen the show, but it's a visually interesting scene. I really enjoyed this project, especially working with color and making the portraits. I did all of the portraits and painted them by hand to fit with my fine arts major. and then I did digital components to kind of get more comfortable with that aspect of this class. Instead of having transparency, layering, and framing separated for each piece, I decided to integrate them all into one for a better sense of cohesion with this. Since all of the triptychs that I have done before have been kind of a little bit more separated, I wanted them to be more, yes, this is part 1, this is part 2, this is part 3, and you can see very clearly that they're all connected, especially the banner. It doesn't make sense for them to be separate, which is something that I kind of wish I had worked on, but I also kind of like it that way because the show itself is very disjointed if you don't watch it in order, you know. Everything except for the backgrounds on the billboards and the lettering or the lettering at least for the banners, are hand-drawn and painted with gouache to adapt to my studio art major. And I believe that is it. Yep, that's it. Email me if you have any questions or send me a DM on Instagram. I really enjoyed this project and I hope to do more like it in the future. Thank you.